because I see myself as this I, and I see them as the I, then I create these behaviors that actually don't actually lead me to problems and difficulties. You know, we go and rip off Smith and Co's. Smith and Co's got a camera that we don't see. The next moment I'm in jail, just because I wanted to help my mate. So this is what we do. What I've done with Robin, is and with Ada, is that there's a certain, some behavior that they've done. They made some kind of behavior that, like Robin smiled to me. That was a kind of behavior, right? Then instead of just saying, oh, well, Robin smiled at me, I've put on that Robin's smile something larger than Robin's smile was, than Robin's smile. I've put onto it, he's a good person. He's a nice person. Because I've related to this I and related to his I, I've put onto him, it wasn't just a smile of sort of, you know, hi, how's it going, or something like that. It's a smile that says, he's a nice person. And Ada was writing there, and the pen wouldn't work, so she scowled. And then I looked at her, and I saw her scowling, and I thought, she's scowling at me. You know? So I've put onto Ada something that's actually not there. But now she's become my enemy because the pen doesn't work. Yeah? So you see, this is what we do. When we identify so strongly with the I, and we identify with the eyes of others, then what we do is we indulge in ideas and behaviors that are completely exaggerated. They don't accord with reality. They don't accord with the simple reality that's just happening. The guy smiled at me. That was all. He smiled at me, therefore he must be my friend. We put onto things like that. We put stuff onto them. And then the more Robin smiles at me, the more I put a picture onto him. This is a good guy. This is a great guy. I really like this guy. And so I build up this great store of attachment to him. And the more I see, the more her pen doesn't work, and the more she scowls at it, the more I hate her. And so we have this kind of carry on going through our lives. And our looking for happiness is actually finding more and more sorrow, because we've completely switched reality, or we haven't looked at reality, we haven't looked at what's going on. We've just reacted to what we've made up in our own minds, basically. Don't you believe me?
I feel like we can also do something for other people. Like, how about our friend asks us something to do, and it's not stealing something, it's something.
Of course, definitely,
and
sure. So I'm just using a rather extreme example to show what our mind tends to do when we make things solid like that, when we identify with a solid I and you know, I see you as a solid I. If you look in the newspaper, what do you see? Bad news mostly. And if you look at it, you know, it's the guy murdering somebody, or somebody beating somebody up, or somebody yelling at somebody, or doing something bad to somebody. Why? Why? Because they say, you are threatening me. You are threatening me. And I'm going to kill you because of it. You see how strong the identification of the I is. Whereas if you could just see it as a collection of causes, conditions, and labeling that's coming together, through a whole lot of causes and effects coming together that cause that particular situation to happen. There's no big I involved. There's just causes, conditions happening. Then why do you get upset?
But if those causes and conditions were going to kill somebody, wouldn't you then have a valid reason to, even seeing them as causes and conditions, to, you know, want to kill them back?
No. If you saw the problem with that is, if the causes conditions leading to somebody wanting to kill somebody and you want to kill them back, what you're doing is creating more causes and conditions for more killing in the future. You're creating more causes and conditions for more unhappiness in the future, because that killing that you do is going to create more problems in the future, because that's what's driving the energy towards towards the future.
What about if you judge somebody as being a helpful person and a friend, and they turn out to be a very nice person, and they do things for you, and you get on well, and you bring
That's
each other?
very cool. That's very cool.
So isn't that bringing happiness?
Of course.
You're making a mistake, but you're still getting
No, the mistake comes when you put something onto them that's not there. They might be a very nice person. I'm not arguing with that. You might be a very nice person. You know, behind all that smiling, you might be a terrific person. And that's great. There's no problem with that at all. You know, then I can be friends with you. But even though you're a nice person, if you come to me and you say something like, let's go and rip off Smith & Co., even though you might be a very nice person, you come and say something like that to me, or let's go out and get drunk or something like that. If I don't clutch onto you as my friend, I don't put your picture onto you that's not there, then I can say to you, no, I'm not going to do that. I can see that you're a nice person, but there's something there that doesn't allow me, that doesn't let me clutch onto you as my mate, and therefore everything that you do is right. Do you understand? I can say to you, no, I'm not going to do that. That's wrong. Of course, recognizing somebody as a nice person and working with them there's nothing wrong with that. What I'm arguing against is putting a picture onto people that's not, putting pictures onto things that are not there, which the eye tends to do, because the eye tends to see things in very solid ways, in very black and white solid ways. It tends to judge. This is good, that's bad, this I like, this I don't like. That's the nature of that eye, tends to do that. So, now we're creeping up to relationships, believe it or not. Relationships. So a relationship is a little bit like, it's a little bit like having having an exaggerated friend. A relationship is like when the eye sees somebody that the eye really likes, or let's take a pretty extreme example. You're walking along and you see somebody that appears to be really beautiful. Then immediately, what does the mind do? If you're a guy, you go, whoa. And if you're a girl, you go, maybe. I don't know what girls do, but guys are pretty obvious. What is the mind doing? If you see somebody that you're really attracted to, what does your mind do?
Forms an attachment.
How? Just think about what you think. You see somebody that's really good looking. What does the mind do immediately on that?
Grabs a hold of it.
I want that person. Don't you sometimes when you see somebody that's very beautiful, you get this fantasy in your mind? Wouldn't it be nice to get in, to sort of talk to them, get together with them, and sort of get to know each other, and then maybe have a relationship, or all the rest of it. The mind sort of goes off on that. Yeah, it sort of goes off on that. What the mind is doing is sees a vision, and then puts something onto the vision that's not there, and creates with that vision. And the more you fantasize like that, the more you put onto the vision stuff, the more trapped you become. Right? So you don't know, when you first see somebody that's very beautiful, you don't know whether this is a good person or a bad person, or this good person is good for you or not. But as far as your mind is concerned, if you don't think about it, if you just let the mind go, this person is your god or goddess. And if you got together with them, life would be perfect from that moment onwards. Yeah? That's what the mind thinks, If I got together with that one, it would just be so nice. And then maybe you do get together. Maybe you do get together. And what happens?